Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason.
And I'm Julia, your co-host. We're so happy to have you with us today.
If you're new here, this podcast is all about helping you improve your English in simple, practical, and fun ways.
That's right. And today we're going to talk about something many English learners struggle with: how to read without pausing too much.
Yes! Have you ever tried reading something in English and found yourself stopping every few words? Maybe to think, to translate, or just because you're unsure.
Don't worry, it's completely normal. Many learners face this. But the good news is, you can learn to read smoothly and confidently with the right practice.
So in this episode, we'll explore why people pause, what it means for your fluency, and how you can train yourself to read more naturally, just like a native speaker.
We'll also share techniques, tips, and even daily habits that can help you reduce those pauses and read with better flow.
So grab a notebook, relax, and let's dive in. All right, Julia, let's start with the big question. Why do people pause when they read in English?
That's a great place to begin. Honestly, Jason, there are many reasons. One of the biggest is lack of vocabulary. When you see a word you don't know, you stop and maybe try to translate it.
Exactly. I've seen students read one sentence and pause 5 times because they're trying to understand each word.
And that makes reading very slow and tiring. Another reason is thinking in your native language. Many learners read in English, but they try to translate everything into their own language before they understand it.
Yes, and that translation takes time, so naturally, they pause. Instead of reading for meaning, they're decoding each word.
There's also fear of making mistakes. Some learners are so worried about pronouncing words wrong or misunderstanding something that they pause every time they feel unsure.
Right. Especially when reading out loud. They get nervous. What if I say this wrong? So they pause, and sometimes even stop completely.
Another common reason is lack of confidence. If you're not sure how English sounds, or you've never practiced reading aloud, your brain feels uncomfortable, and you hesitate.
And we can't forget punctuation confusion. Many learners pause in the wrong places, like in the middle of a phrase, because they don't understand where commas or full stops should guide their reading.
Yes, punctuation is like a roadmap. If you don't understand the signs, you get lost, and getting lost leads to more pausing.
So, to summarize, people usually pause while reading because of not knowing words, translating in their heads, lack of confidence, fear of mistakes, and not understanding punctuation.
Exactly. But the good news is, all of these problems can be solved with the right techniques and regular practice.
Yes, and that's what we'll cover in the next part of this episode. We'll talk about confidence and how it helps you read with flow.
So stay with us. We're just getting started.
So now that we know why people pause while reading, let's talk about something really important: confidence and flow.
Yes, confidence is like the engine that keeps your reading going. If you don't believe in yourself, you'll keep stopping even when you know the words.
That's so true. I've seen learners who know the vocabulary, but they pause just because they're unsure. They think, am I saying this right? Or, what if I make a mistake?
Exactly. But here's the secret. Fluency comes from letting go of that fear. You have to give yourself permission to make mistakes and just keep going.
That's where flow comes in. When you're in the flow, you don't stop to overthink. You just read, smoothly, naturally, like water running in a stream.
Yes, flow is not about being perfect. It's about staying connected to the sentence. Even if you mispronounce a word, it's okay. What matters is that you keep moving.
Let's give an example. Imagine reading this sentence. The boy was walking through the forest when he heard a strange noise. Now, a nervous reader might stop after every few words. The boy was walking through the forest. You can hear the tension, right?
Totally. But with confidence and flow, it sounds more like, the boy was walking through the forest when he heard a strange noise. It's smoother, more connected, and it feels natural, even if it's not perfect.
So how do you build that confidence and flow?
Start small. Read short texts every day. Don't stop to correct yourself. Just keep reading even if it's slow at first. Over time, your brain learns the rhythm of English.
Also, record yourself reading and listen back. You'll hear your progress, and each time you'll feel a little more confident.
Confidence is built by action. The more you read, the better you'll flow.
And in the next part, we'll talk about something that breaks that flow: bad reading habits and how to fix them.
Let's go there next.
All right, Julia. Now let's talk about some common mistakes and bad habits that many English learners have when reading. These can really slow down your progress.
Absolutely, Jason. One big mistake is reading word by word instead of reading in groups or chunks. When you read word by word, it breaks the natural flow.
Right. It feels like you're reading slowly, and it's tiring. Your brain has to process every single word separately, instead of understanding the meaning as a whole.
Another mistake is pausing too much at commas or punctuation marks. Some learners stop for a long time at every comma, even when it's not necessary.
Yeah, I see that a lot. Commas are there to help you breathe or understand the sentence structure, but they don't always mean a full stop.
Exactly. And some learners also skip words or sentences because they get frustrated or lost. That's a bad habit because skipping breaks your understanding.
True. Skipping means you miss important information, and it makes it harder to follow the story or idea.
Another one is reading aloud too fast without understanding. Sometimes learners try to sound fluent, but they just rush and don't really grasp what they're reading.
That's a great point. Reading fast is good, but only if you understand what you're reading. Otherwise, it's just words without meaning.
Also, many learners don't use their finger or a pointer to guide their eyes while reading. This simple tool can help keep your focus and improve speed.
Yeah, using your finger or a pen to follow the words is an easy trick that helps train your eyes to move smoothly.
So to sum up, the main bad habits to watch out for are reading word by word, pausing too long at punctuation, skipping parts, rushing without understanding, and not using a pointer or guide.
If you can spot these habits in your reading and work on fixing them, you'll be on your way to smoother, faster reading.
And next, we'll share some techniques to train your eyes for better reading flow.
Let's keep going. All right, Julia. Now let's talk about something that's often overlooked, but really important: training your eyes for better reading.
Yes, Jason. When we read, our eyes don't just move smoothly like a movie camera. Instead, they jump quickly from one spot to another. These jumps are called saccades.
Exactly. And most beginner readers fixate. That means they stop and stare on each word for too long. This slows down reading and makes you want to pause.
Right. But with practice, you can train your eyes to take in more words at once, which helps you read faster and more smoothly.
One useful trick is to use your peripheral vision. That means you don't have to look directly at every single word, but can catch nearby words with your side vision.
Yes. For example, when you read a sentence, try to focus on the middle part and let your eyes see the words on the left and right without moving too much.
This helps you read in chunks instead of word by word. It feels more natural and helps keep your flow going.
Another tip is to practice moving your eyes smoothly across lines without stopping too often. You can do this by following a finger or pen moving slowly under the words.
Good idea. Also, Try to avoid going back to reread words unless it's really necessary. This backward movement, called regression, breaks your flow.
Yes, it's normal to do it sometimes, but try to catch yourself and keep going forward. Your brain will learn better that way.
So to sum up, training your eyes means practicing smooth eye movements, using peripheral vision to see groups of words, avoiding fixating on every single word, and minimizing backward eye movements.
With regular practice, your eyes will get faster and your reading will become smoother.
Up next, we'll talk about how chunking words helps you read without pausing. Stay tuned. Okay, Julia, now that we've talked about eye movement, let's dive into a really important skill called chunking.
Yes. Chunking means reading groups of words together instead of one word at a time. It helps your brain understand meaning faster and keeps your reading smooth.
Exactly. When you read word by word, your brain is working too hard. It's like trying to eat one grain of rice at a time. It takes forever.
That's a great way to put it. But if you eat rice with a spoon, it's faster and easier, just like reading groups of words at once.
Right. For example, instead of reading, "The boy was walking through," try to read "the boy" or "was walking" as one piece.
And to practice chunking, you can start with small groups like 2 or 3 words. Then, as you get better, try bigger chunks.
A good way to practice is by looking at the sentence and dividing it into natural phrases or ideas. Punctuation helps here, too.
Yes, commas and pauses in speech show where chunks naturally happen, so learning punctuation helps you know where to chunk.
One more tip. Try reading sentences out loud in chunks. It makes your speech sound more natural and helps you remember the chunks better.
And don't worry if it feels strange at first. Chunking takes practice, but it's one of the best ways to reduce pausing and read faster.
Exactly. Next, we'll talk about how to build a smooth reading rhythm to keep your flow going.
Keep practicing chunking, everyone.
All right, Julia. Now that we understand chunking, let's talk about building a smooth reading rhythm. This is key to reading without those awkward pauses.
Yes, rhythm is like music and language. When you read with a steady beat, your voice and brain work together to keep the flow.
Exactly. But many learners read like a robot, choppy, uneven, stopping here and there.
Right. To get a natural rhythm, you can try listening to native speakers reading or speaking English. Pay attention to how they stress certain words and where they pause.
A good way is to read along with audio recordings. This helps you feel the pace and rhythm of natural speech.
Yes. Another technique is to practice reading poetry.
All right, Julia. Now that we understand chunking, let's talk about building a smooth reading rhythm. This is key to reading without those awkward pauses.
Yes, rhythm is like music in language. When you read with a steady beat, your voice and brain work together to keep the flow.
Exactly. But many learners read like a robot, choppy, uneven, stopping here and there.
Right. To get a natural rhythm, you can try listening to native speakers reading or speaking English. Pay attention to how they stress certain words and where they pause.
A good way is to read along with audio recordings. This helps you feel the pace and rhythm of natural speech.
Yes. Another technique is to practice reading poetry or songs aloud. The natural rhythm in poetry helps you get used to flow and timing.
And don't forget about pausing at the right places, like commas and periods. These pauses give your voice a chance to rest and help your listener understand better.
One more tip. Try to read with emotion. When you feel the meaning of the sentence, your rhythm will sound much more natural.
So, building a smooth rhythm is about listening, practicing with audio, paying attention to punctuation, and adding feeling to your reading.
Keep practicing this, and soon your reading will sound much more confident and natural.
Next, we'll discuss breath control and voice modulation. Important tools to keep your rhythm. Now, Julia, let's talk about something a bit more technical, but very helpful. Breath control and voice modulation when reading aloud.
Yes, Jason. Controlling your breath helps you avoid unnecessary pauses and keeps your voice steady and clear.
When you read without proper breath control, you might run out of air and have to stop suddenly. That's when awkward pauses happen.
Exactly. A good tip is to take deep, calm breaths before starting a sentence and then breathe naturally as you read through.
Also, learning to pause naturally at punctuation marks helps you catch your breath and adds meaning to your reading.
Now about voice modulation. That means changing your tone, pitch, and speed to make reading interesting and expressive.
Right. Reading in a flat, monotone voice can be boring and makes it hard to keep a good rhythm.
But if you raise your voice slightly for questions or excitement and lower it for calm or serious parts, your reading sounds more natural.
So, practicing breath control and voice modulation helps you read smoothly, avoid long pauses, and keep listeners engaged.
Try recording yourself and listen for places where you could breathe better or add some expression.
Great advice! Up next, we'll explore the power of reading aloud every day.
Stay tuned!
Julia, one of the best ways to improve reading without pausing is simply reading aloud every day.
Absolutely, Jason. Reading aloud trains your brain, your eyes, and your mouth all at once. It builds fluency and confidence.
When you read silently, it's easy to skip words or lose focus. But reading aloud forces you to slow down just enough to notice each word, yet keep the flow.
Yes, and it helps with pronunciation too. You hear the sounds and rhythms of English, which helps your brain remember them.
Plus, reading aloud makes you more comfortable with making mistakes. When you speak out loud, you can hear where you stumble and improve.
Another benefit is that reading aloud strengthens your memory and comprehension because you use both your eyes and ears.
Even just 5 or 10 minutes a day can make a big difference over time.
So, if you want to reduce pauses, try reading a short story, article, or poem out loud daily.
Consistency is key. The more you practice, the more natural your reading will become.
Up next, we'll discuss how to use punctuation as a guide to help your reading flow.
Don't go anywhere. Julia, punctuation is like a map that helps guide your reading. Let's talk about how using punctuation correctly can help you read without pausing too much.
That's right, Jason. Punctuation marks, like commas, periods, question marks, and exclamation points, show where you should pause, slow down, or change your tone.
For example, a comma usually means a short pause, like a quick breath, not a full stop.
Exactly. So if you pause too long at every comma, it breaks your rhythm and makes your reading choppy.
A period means a full stop. It's where you finish a thought and take a longer pause.
And question marks or exclamation points tell you to change your tone, make your voice go up, or show excitement or surprise.
Knowing this helps you read more naturally and helps your listener understand better.
So when you practice reading, pay close attention to punctuation. Let it guide your breathing and your expression.
This will make your reading smoother and help reduce unnecessary pausing.
Next, we'll share a great technique called shadow reading that helps you practice flow and pronunciation.
Stay tuned. Julia, one of the best ways to improve your reading flow and pronunciation is a technique called shadow reading. Have you tried it?
Yes, Jason. Shadow reading is when you listen to a native speaker reading a text and try to speak along at the same time, almost like a shadow.
Exactly. It's like copying the rhythm, intonation, and speed of the speaker right after you hear it.
This helps you get used to how English sounds naturally. It trains your brain and mouth to work together smoothly.
And it's great for building confidence because you're practicing with a perfect model.
You can find shadow reading materials in audiobooks, podcasts, or videos with subtitles.
Start with short passages and listen carefully. Then try to speak along, matching the speaker's pace and tone as closely as possible.
It might feel challenging at first, but with regular practice, your reading speed and flow will improve a lot.
Shadow reading is a powerful tool to reduce pauses and sound more like a native speaker.
Give it a try. Up next, we'll talk about some practical tips and daily routines to help you keep improving.
Don't miss it. All right, Julia. Now let's share some practical tips and daily habits to help our listeners reduce pausing while reading.
Great idea, Jason. First, try to read aloud every day, even if it's just for 5 to 10 minutes. Consistency is key.
Yes, and pick materials that interest you. Stories, news articles, or even song lyrics. It makes practice enjoyable.
Also, use a finger or pointer to guide your eyes while reading. It helps keep your focus and speeds up your eye movement.
Another good tip is to record yourself reading. Listen back to notice where you pause too much, then work on those parts.
Don't forget to practice shadow reading with native speakers' recordings. It's a fun way to improve flow and pronunciation.
And be patient with yourself. Improving reading fluency takes time and practice, so celebrate small progress.
Remember, the goal is not perfection, but getting comfortable and confident.
If you build these habits into your daily routine, you'll see your reading become smoother and more natural.
Keep practicing, and soon pausing will become less and less.
In our final segment, we'll leave you with some motivation and encouragement.
Stay tuned.
Well, Julia, we've covered a lot today about how to read without pausing too much.
Yes, and remember, it's completely normal to pause sometimes. The important thing is to keep practicing and never give up.
Every time you read, you're building your skills, confidence, rhythm, vocabulary, and flow.
And even small steps add up. Don't compare yourself to others. Your progress is unique and valuable.
If you make mistakes, that's great. Mistakes mean you're learning and growing.
Keep reading aloud, keep practicing those techniques, and soon you'll notice yourself reading smoother and with less stopping.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We believe in you and your English learning journey.
Yes, keep going. You're doing amazing.
Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your friends who want to improve their reading.
See you next time on the English Learning Podcast. Keep practicing and stay confident.
Bye, everyone.